In every country, there are stories that shape the way people see power, politics, crime, and leadership. Some stories grow quietly in the background, whispered in corners and spoken about only by those who follow security matters closely. But there are also stories that erupt into the open and shake an entire nation. The story of how General NHLANHLA Mkhwanazi survived an assassination attempt planned by his enemies is one of those stories. It is a moment that reveals the dangers faced by individuals who confront powerful criminal networks, corrupt officials, and people who feel threatened by truth. Today, we take a long and careful journey into this story, explaining what happened, why it happened, and what it means for the future of South Africa. We explore the past events that shaped General Mkhwanazi's rise, the tensions that built up around him over the years, and the complex environment that made an assassination attempt possible. And most importantly, we look at how he managed to survive, how he responded to the danger, and what this moment means for the country going forward. To understand what made the attempt on General Mkhwanazi's life possible, we must first understand the environment he operates in. For years, South Africa has been facing a deep and dangerous crisis involving organized crime, corruption, political power struggles, and battles within the security services themselves. Crime syndicates have become more advanced. Corruption networks have become more connected. And over time, the line between criminal groups and political actors has become thinner. It is within this environment that General Mkhwanazi rose to prominence. Known for being strict, focused, and unwilling to entertain nonsense, he built a reputation as one of the few high-ranking police officials who resisted political influence. He was not willing to bend to powerful interests. He was not willing to protect corrupt officials. And he was not willing to look away when evidence pointed to wrongdoing, no matter how senior the people involved were. This made him respected by many South Africans, but it also made him one of the most targeted and disliked figures for those who fear accountability. Every step he took toward exposing truth created new enemies. And every investigation he led put pressure on individuals who prefer silence and secrecy. Over time, his investigations began touching sensitive areas: drug trafficking networks, internal police corruption, political violence, high-level fraud, and cases that pointed fingers at people with influence and money. Each breakthrough created tension. Each arrest threatened another person's comfort. And in a system where some officials are deeply connected to criminal operations, the presence of a determined investigator becomes a threat that must be neutralized. The more he dug, the deeper he reached into networks that did not want to be exposed. This growing pressure formed the background against which the assassination attempt developed, growing silently, carefully, and strategically. The attempt on his life did not happen suddenly. Like most high-level hits, it was planned over a long period. The people behind it understood his movement patterns. They studied his protection strategies. They observed his habits. They monitored his operations. And they used their connections to gather intelligence about when he would be most vulnerable. In many countries, assassination attempts often succeed because the enemies of the target have inside help. And in this case, early analysis suggested that individuals familiar with high-level police routines might have provided information to the attackers. This possibility alone reveals the depth of infiltration within certain structures. When criminals can obtain intelligence meant for strategic operations, it becomes clear just how dangerous the situation really is. But what the planners did not expect was that General Mkhwanazi's instincts and training would save him. Years of working on the front line, years of dealing with criminals, and years of being aware of the risks made him extremely cautious. He did not follow predictable routines. He adjusted his movements regularly. He used sudden route changes. He trusted only a few people. And he always remained alert to unusual behavior around him. On the day of the attempted attack, these instincts played a crucial role. According to sources familiar with the incident, the attackers expected him to travel along a particular route that he usually used. They positioned themselves ahead of time, watching, waiting, and coordinating. Their plan was to strike quickly, disappear fast, and leave behind confusion and fear. But General Mkhwanazi made a last-minute change in his travel arrangements, a change that was not communicated to anybody beyond a very small circle. This single decision disrupted the attackers' plan. They waited for a convoy that never arrived. Their timing became confused. Their communication broke down. And as suspicion grew, the presence of unknown individuals in a certain location was noticed by members of his security detail, who had been trained to identify unusual patterns around high-risk zones. The delay caused panic among the attackers, and instead of attempting a risky improvisation, they fled. Later investigations would reveal traces of surveillance equipment, indications of communication between the attackers, and clues pointing toward figures who were already under investigation for corruption, organized crime, and political manipulation. Surviving the attempt was not only a matter of good instincts. It was also a direct result of internal loyalty within the small group of people he trusted. A few individuals close to him had warned him earlier about strange movements, suspicious behavior, and the possibility that information was being leaked. These warnings encouraged him to tighten his security and reduce the number of people who knew his schedule. This strategy protected him from infiltration, and it made it more difficult for attackers to predict his next moves. After the attempt failed, the response was swift. Security around him was adjusted. Investigations intensified. And for the first time, the people behind the attack realized that they had made a serious mistake. By failing to eliminate him, they had triggered a fire they could not control. General Mkhwanazi did not react with fear. Instead, he reacted with determination. The attempt strengthened his resolve. It gave him a clearer understanding of just how deep the corruption and criminal interference had become. He continued with his investigations, not only to uncover those who targeted him but also to bring to light the larger networks connected to the plot. This is where the story becomes even more complex. Evidence emerging after the incident pointed to the involvement of multiple actors, some from criminal networks, some from business sectors that benefit from instability, and some from political structures that fear exposure. These connections show how large and dangerous the environment has become. When a senior figure like General Mkhwanazi becomes a target, it means the people he threatens are powerful and desperate. This moment also raises questions about South Africa's future. What does it mean for the country when honest officials must protect themselves not only from criminals but also from those who operate inside trusted institutions? What happens to public trust when security leaders face assassination attempts? What steps must be taken to prevent another attempt in the future? These are questions that go beyond one man's experience. They touch the heart of South Africa's broader struggle to restore trust in its institutions. The attack shows that the battle against corruption and organized crime is far from over. It shows that there are forces willing to go to extreme lengths to protect their interests. And it shows that the country needs stronger systems, stronger accountability, and stronger protection for those who stand for truth. Looking ahead, the implications are serious. If General Mkhwanazi continues exposing high-level corruption, more attacks may be planned. If investigations keep uncovering hidden networks, powerful players may be pushed into corners. And as truth emerges, the balance of power in the country may shift. But one thing is clear, his survival has changed the game. It has emboldened those who support accountability. And it has made his enemies more desperate and more visible. This moment will influence future investigations, future political developments, and future security strategies across South Africa. As we come to the end of this long and detailed explanation, it is important to remember that stories like this shape the future of nations. They remind us that courage comes with danger, and truth comes with a price. But they also show that resilience, strategy, and determination can overcome even the darkest threats. If you found this video informative, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below and share your thoughts about the story. Tell us what you think should happen next, and what questions still need answers. Your engagement helps grow the channel and keeps conversations like this alive. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.